Hello, in this video we're going to show you how to upload a for sale listing into the OneKey MLS using Stratus. First hit add edit, and then now you'll want to take a look at the listing details the seller has provided. Hauseit agent assisted FSBO sellers will usually send a listing details submission. Of course, it won't have everything that the MLS will require, so we'll do what we can. It's important to verify that the percentage offered to buyer's agents is the same as in the signed listing agreement. If you don't see the signed listing agreement in Freshdesk, just search, for example, for the seller's name, and then you'll see that you've been copied on a signed copy of the flat fee listing agreement. You can verify it's the same name, Addy. Most importantly, you see the 3% here is exactly the same as the 3% here. So we know this has been, this is signed. Very important because we can only upload a listing if it's a listing into the MLS if we have a signed listing agreement. This is a single family house as indicated here. So let's begin in Nassau County. And of course, if you're not sure which county it is, you can always simply Google the town or the zip code and ask what county it is. It'll be very easy to find. So because it's single family a house, just hit residential. The other option is condo, co-op, if it happens to be a condo or co-op, but if it's a single family house, you just hit residential. And then you'll know that it's in Nassau County because you Google the zip code, for example, and asked what county. And then you'll want to link to public records your listing. So first of all, I would recommend searching by street. So it's 7th Street, but you can just put 7. And then you'll see just by doing this, the count has narrowed down to 1. So you can submit. And you see there's only one choice, 933 North 7th Street, New Hyde Park. It is this one. You can link this to your listing below. And you'll see some other information here, school district and the property taxes. This is the annual tax. These are the annual taxes. So it's actually very helpful to have this. What I would recommend, you even see the style here. What I recommend is if you do see a listing history in a previous MLS, just open this up because you can actually copy some of the information that was previously listed. If that doesn't load for some reason, you can simply click on this, and perhaps you wish to print this and save these details for later. For some reason you're having trouble, you can always open up a new tab and search for the MLS number. New tab, search for the MLS number. And then voila, you have this in a new tab that you can refer to. Here you need to click one of one, link with listing. Now you're good to go. The one thing I would recommend double checking here is full bats. You notice that the owner said 2 full bats and here it says 1, so just uncheck that, but everything else is pretty standard. You can leave as is. Hit continue. Obviously this is going to be a public listing. And then note that the places within asterisks are areas where you must put in. And if you try to submit, you'll notice that it takes you to the bottom. All these things are not filled in, so you need to fill them in. So you can see some of this information here from a previous MLS listing. You can just copy it over. If you don't know, for example, this you were able to copy over. But if you did not have access to this, then just put unknown. You can always take a look and Google the address and perhaps take a look at a former Zillow listing as well, because oftentimes it will have similar information from the MLS that you can take a look at, such as, for example, schools and such. You see here that adult community is no. This is typical. You can always put no by default unless for some reason the listing description, the seller tells you that, hey, this is an adult community. The seller actually told us in the listing details that the school district is New Hyde Park School. Again, for these, you can verify this through Zillow, like we talked about, or through the former MLS listing, another MLS listing, to see what others have put. For zoning, this is a legacy field, really hard to decipher what it even means. Just select the closest one, especially if the former, you can't find this anywhere else. It's fine, just select the closest one. Listing price, obviously very important to verify. This is what the seller will provide, so very important to enter exactly what the seller wanted in this case. $659. Yeah, so you see the comma automatically removed, but always important to double check that this is exactly right. You don't want to be missing a digit. The seller will be very angry, of course. The taxes, the seller provided $615. That's monthly, so you want an annual figure. Annual, it's $7,380. Listing date, always today. For the expiration date, take a look at the agreement. So you'll see that in our agreement, just for if you're interested, it's in effect from the date that it's fully signed, so countersigned by the last party, and then it's for 365 days. So you'll see that it was fully signed on August 12th, and then 365 days happens to be August 12th, 2023. For style, do your best. You can try to find out from either Zillow or a former MLS listing. Otherwise, just use your judgment and try to pick the best fit for this one. You'll notice here in the former MLS listing and also Zillow, they say the style is ranch. Rooms, this is something that the seller provides. You see they provide the bedrooms, bathrooms, total room count. For half baths, 0. Most will have one kitchen, so you can do that. Because this was selected as a single family house, so obviously it's only one family. And then for everything that you can, if the seller doesn't provide you details, just hit see remarks, because we don't know what has happened since the previous listing, for example. So just go off of what the seller says wherever you can that is required. Just hit see remarks. For fireplaces, see if you can find. See, they previously put 0. That's good enough for us. New construction, no, because it was built so late. If it was built this year, then potentially yes. And then for level, again, this isn't something that the seller provides us with, so just hit other, additional, and then see remarks. For construction, any of these questions where you don't know, you can always say see remarks if that is an option. This also presents us with less liability for the seller as well. For driveway, unfortunately there is nothing that you can choose, so select private because you were able to see what they previously wrote. Driveway private. So fortunately here we had something to go off of. If you didn't, use your best judgment, perhaps take a look at the photos. The photos in this case do show a private garage, driveway, so hit private. You can usually take a look in the photos and find something like that out. Otherwise, hit other, see remark. Except in this case that the seller did provide some information, so take a look. They said heating and cooling systems, gas heat. Not a lot of information, but you can then perhaps put gas. Or actually, to be safe, hit see remarks, because then you can just copy and paste what the seller said for gas heat in other remarks. And then again, same thing here, see remarks, see remarks, see remarks, C remarks. For AC, unfortunately there is no C remarks, so see if you can try to figure it out based off of what either the seller told you or what a previous listing or Zillow said. So what do they say for AC? We're lucky here. Oh, they say window units. Okay. Window units. Otherwise, if you really have no idea, it's not on any previous listing, the seller hasn't told us, just put individual or use your best judgment. Listing agent, that's ourself as the listing agent. For the showing phone, we want to put the seller's number wherever possible. This is the seller's phone number. Keep in mind that it needs to be in a special format with dashes here, so you may need to retype it in. Next, go down. Remember we talked about this, you can just leave as 0. Buyer agency compensation, this is the most important part. This is the 3% that we talked about that's offered to buyer's agents. Always exclusive right to sell. And for agent-assisted FSBO listings through Hauseit, always negotiate direct, yes. You can always just double check this buyer agency commission compensation number. And that's correct, 3%. Let's continue. See remarks. This is the property description. If there is a field for OneKey MLS listing description, use this one. You'll see here it's the same. The reason we have two different boxes is OneKey MLS has a 1,000 character limit. Make sure there's no weird spacing. Okay. And then for this modifications, we always select M3 if and when IAW, and here's the reason. MA3 if and W, this basically protects the seller because our commission agreement says the seller is only owed any commission if it closes. So not if there's an accepted offer or anything. Seller only pays commission if the property closes. For REO, means real estate owned, select no by default unless for some reason you know it's a bank owned property, very unlikely. Always select yes for send listing to Realtor.com, even if this is not a required field. If there are any, if you do have a virtual tour, you can put that here. A 3D tour, you put that link here. And then if you have a video tour URL, you put that here. We don't have any included that the seller gave us in this example, so you can ignore that. The seller didn't want to add any open houses, but if they did, you can simply add an open house here. Very easy to do so. Basically, whether it's a public open house or broker only for some reason, but we really only allow public, so it would just be public, the date, the begin time, and the end time. You can add additional one here or delete. Next, upload your photos. You see here that the seller uploaded several photos to us, but they came in PDFs with small images, so this is not something we could accept. We asked the seller to resend them, and they did resend them individually. So in this case, we manually asked them to resend individually. They did. We downloaded all of them, and they did label them in numerical order as we requested. So this way, when we have them in a folder and we upload all of them at once to the OneKey MLS, it'll automatically go into the order that the seller wanted, which makes it very easy because we don't have to reorder photos. Upload. You see that it's already, when you upload all, it's in the order that the sellers labeled them, which is very convenient. And you'll see that they appear in the correct order. One additional thing we forgot to mention. When you double check and you scroll through, you'll notice that one piece of information that we didn't add was the interior square footage. The lot square footage in this case was automatically added when you link to the public listing, but let's include the interior square footage, and this is perhaps the owner's estimate. Here, this is not a required field. Notice when you pasted it over, not all the characters did paste over, 1641. And then this is just put other because this is what the seller told us. You'll notice also that the seller gave us a little bit of more detail, and let's just see if there's a way to add, for example, property amenities and exposure in. So they checked hardwood floors, dishwasher, which you said, and the other one is laundry in unit. So while they don't have a field for laundry in unit, they do have, laundry in unit means a washing machine and a dryer. So you can hit dryer, see if they have a washing machine. Oh, washer here. So when they say laundry in unit, it's a washer dryer. So just check washer dryer, dishwasher, and hardwood floors. You'll see it's these three. And if for some reason that you can't find them, you can just basically copy paste this into the other remarks section, which will show you. Next, you'll see the exposure section. So it's west, property exposure west. Check that. Lastly, this, for example, let's say you were unable to find a place to write this because it was insufficiently sort of perfectly of a fit. For example, we didn't say natural gas because that's not exactly what the seller said. So then let's go to broker info remarks, and anything here that we are unable to essentially put in, just delete any weird spaces, just put this here. So this way we have entered what the seller has told us, but just under this see remarks section. And that's it. Now let's try to submit this listing and see if any errors come up. And you'll see that it's been successfully added. And now you can find this listing under My Listings. For some reason you don't see it, go to Office Inventory. Always select Pending so you can see the in-contract ones too, why not? And then take a look for your listing. You see it right here. Copy the owner's email address and make sure you understand their first name. And then simply send them the confirmation. And then make sure you send them broker full. So this way you send them everything. And then hit send. Now remember to reply to the seller with a canned response. Go to New Listing, Upload Notification, insert this. Your listing has been uploaded. Keep in mind, because you sent them the listing from the OneKey MLS, there's no need to attach a screenshot for this specific task. So now you can simply send and set as closed. And there you have it. This is how you upload a listing into the OneKey MLS using Stratus. We hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit like or subscribe. Leave us a comment below if you have any questions. And of course, if you're looking to save money when you buy or sell real estate in New York or Florida, check us out, Hauseit.com. And of course, if you're a real estate agent looking to see how you can partner with Hauseit and join us and work on our vetted buyer and seller referrals, check out our careers page at Hauseit.com. We'll see you on the next one.